In the sun-drenched Shekhawati region of India, you will find sprawling, brightly painted mansions built purely to display extreme wealth and aesthetic beauty. The word for these structures, Haveli, comes from Persian, translating to House of Wind. But that airy, welcoming name hides a very different reality. These structures were highly paranoid fortresses, specifically engineered for strict behavioral control. To understand why, we have to look at historical photographs like this one. Following the Mughal invasions, local society adopted a rigorous social code. Women were entirely cloistered and kept completely out of sight from male strangers. This system of absolute physical segregation is known as purdah. This created a massive architectural paradox for the wealthy merchant families, known as Seths. They needed a headquarters that could repel armed attacks and perfectly enforce the purdah system to protect the women, while still allowing the patriarch of the family to run a bustling commercial enterprise every single day. The Haveli is a physical machine, engineered to filter out the outside world through a series of increasingly restrictive layers. Looking at historical street scenes, you can see how chaotic the public sphere was. To keep that chaos at bay, the homeowner conducted basic commerce and spoke with unverified strangers from an exterior raised platform, effectively handling business without letting anyone breach the actual walls. If a guest passed that platform, they faced the Toran Dwar, or main gate, built to stop large-scale physical assaults. Kept locked for security, visitors entered through a much smaller inset door. You cannot rush through this gap. You must step through slowly, single file. The low clearance of the frame forces every visitor to bow their head upon entry. It is a dual-purpose design. It slows an armed attacker to a crawl, while instantly establishing the homeowner's psychological dominance over the guest. Once inside the gate, you reach the first courtyard. For male outsiders, this was the absolute limit. It acted as the central hub for the patriarch's daily business operations. To go deeper into the home, you must cross a physical threshold called the dahliz. Stepping over this wooden boundary marks the exact dividing line between the public business realm and the highly guarded private family quarters. This physical step carried a rigid social rule. Any internal family disputes, arguments, or gossip had to stay securely behind this threshold. Letting a private conflict cross the dahliz into the public sphere meant total reputational destruction for the family. If you were trusted enough to access the upper floors, you'd face one final physical defense mechanism before reaching the family. The staircases are unusually steep, incredibly narrow, and starved of light, designed specifically so an intruder could not quickly sprint upward. Only after surviving the physical choke points of the ground floor and the social filters of the courtyard could someone finally access the true, protected core of the home. At the top of the stairs lies the Diwan-e-Khas, the inner courtyard. It is a heavily isolated, exclusive realm reserved entirely for women and the immediate family. But this deep isolation poses a major problem. If the women and children are strictly forbidden from leaving the house, how do they learn about a rapidly modernizing outside world? The architecture itself provides the solution. These walls are covered in elaborate frescoes, turning the physical structure into a textbook, bringing the outside world inside. Take a look at this steam locomotive. Many of these Havelis were built in 1902 and feature paintings of trains decades before the railway actually reached this specific region. It was a practical curriculum, teaching the cloistered inhabitants exactly what modern technology looked like. The walls also taught science and philosophy. Ancient theology was mapped directly to biological progression. The 10 avatars of the Hindu god Vishnu were painted sequentially to mirror the stages of Darwinian evolution, starting from aquatic life, moving to amphibious creatures, and evolving up into complex humans. They even dictated psychology and social expectations. The walls depict the 9 forms of the goddess Durga, using them to map out the 9 psychological stages of a woman's life, from a young student all the way up to a protective mother. This restricted core functioned as an immersive, multidisciplinary classroom, bringing the world to those forbidden from traveling through it. Eventually, this hyper-segregated lifestyle declined. As the 20th century progressed, the purdah system faded. Wealthy families relocated to modern cities, and the daily need for a domestic fortress vanished. Left behind, the Havelis evolved. Once completely sealed private homes, Many transitioned into public schools and eventually into open heritage museums, completely reversing their original isolating purpose. We no longer build homes to rigidly isolate our families from society, but the Haveli remains a profound, lasting reminder that the physical spaces we build directly dictate our daily social realities. In decoding these defensive doors, strict thresholds, and painted walls, we find the internal logic of an entire culture.